In 2021, the U.S. military budget went over $800 billion, more than the next 9 biggest militaries combined. With so much money, the U.S. builds some of the most expensive war machines. One example is the USS Ford aircraft carrier, which cost $13.3 billion, but is still not fully ready 5 years after its launch. Another is the F-35 fighter program, which cost $1.7 trillion. Recently, the U.S. Air Force had to ground all its F-35 jets because of broken ejection seats. Some of America's war machines are being used in Ukraine, including Javelin anti-tank missiles, howitzer artillery cannons, and drones like the California-made Switchblade loitering munitions. The cost of this advanced war technology could reach trillions of dollars. But what is the true cost? Let's take a closer look. The U.S. Navy is running tests with 40,000-pound underwater bombs before declaring its most expensive aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, combat ready. The Ford boasts more firepower and a smaller crew compared to its predecessor, which entered service in 1975. Designed to save billions over its 50-year lifespan, the Ford has instead doubled the cost of the last carrier built and faced constant delays and unexpected expenses. Even unclogging its toilets can cost $400,000. Nearly 2 decades after its plans began, the Ford is still not fully ready for deployment. The USS Gerald R. Ford features new weapons elevators that move munitions securely from deep inside the ship to the flight deck, bypassing traditional, riskier routes. Originally planned for construction in 2004, delays pushed the project back multiple times, causing costs to skyrocket from $6.4 billion to $10 billion. The Ford is the first of 4 new carriers meant to replace the U.S. Navy's aging supercarrier fleet, but delays have left the Navy operating only 10 carriers instead of the required 11. Building the Ford required over 5,000 shipbuilders and 49 million labor hours, 7 times the effort needed to construct the Empire State Building. Despite being christened in 2013 and delivered in 2017, many systems were unfinished at the time to meet budget targets. One major issue was the decision to introduce too many new technologies at once, making the program difficult to manage and significantly over budget. Among these innovations are the electromagnetic aircraft launch and landing systems, which are revolutionary but still facing operational challenges. The Advanced Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, EMALS, is similar to high-speed maglev trains, which is meant to improve efficiency and reduce wear on aircraft. However, research and design alone cost over $1 billion, and installing it on the Ford ended up costing more than twice the initial estimate. Traditional steam catapults had thousands of moving parts, while EMALS has fewer than 100, reducing maintenance and crew requirements. The Ford was designed with a smaller crew and advanced automation, promising to save $4 billion over its 50-year lifespan. The new system also allows a wider range of aircraft to take off and land, including future drone designs. Pilots benefit from smoother takeoffs and landings, as a computer now controls the approach and arresting gear, making operations safer. However, despite these advancements, the EMALS system wasn't originally compatible with the Navy's newest fighter jet, the F-35, meaning the Ford will require costly retrofits with a $315 million modification to support F-35 operations from the start. The cost of this massive warship has reached $13.3 billion, and it keeps rising every year. Even basic onboard functions come with shocking expenses. The ship's 750 toilets use a vacuum system similar to those on commercial jets, but when one toilet clogs, it can affect the entire system. Fixing it requires an acid flush that costs $400,000 each time, and the Navy still isn't sure how often this costly maintenance will be needed. Meanwhile, the U.S. military has committed $1.7 trillion to the F-35 Lightning II program, the largest weapons project in American history. Since its first flight in 2006, the stealth fighter has seen action against ISIS in Iraq and Syria. While praised for its advanced technology, the program has faced heavy criticism over its high costs. An F-35 costs around $35,000 per flight hour, significantly more than older jets like the F-16. The F-35 program was meant to create a single fighter jet for the Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps. But different military branches had unique needs. leading to three separate models. F-35A, Air Force, the most conventional version designed for fighter and bomber missions. It's also the cheapest at $78 million per plane. F-35B, Marines, features short takeoff and vertical landing capabilities for amphibious carriers, costing $101 million per unit. F-35C, Navy, built for aircraft carriers with a reinforced frame and larger wings, priced at $94 million per plane. The original goal was for all three variants to be nearly identical, but combining so many requirements into a single aircraft design caused major complications, delays, and cost overruns. The first F-35B model was designed to hover, but ended up being too heavy due to all the features added. This led to a redesign, which affected all three F-35 models. The redesign caused significant delays and added costs to the program. The Navy's F-35C required tougher landing gear and bigger wings for aircraft carrier landings. In 2012, retired Lieutenant General Chris Bogdan took over the F-35 program, which was way over budget and behind schedule. Initially, the models were supposed to share 75% of their design to save costs, but in reality, they only shared about a third. This mess happened because the Department of Defense decided to start production before testing the new technologies, hoping they would work together. By October 2022, Lockheed Martin had delivered over 550 F-35s to the U.S. military, with plans for nearly 2,000 more and over 200 for other countries. Even after over 15 years, the F-35 still has over 600 known issues, mostly with software and hardware, making maintenance more expensive than expected. The lifetime maintenance cost for the fleet grew 15% from 2018 to 2021, reaching over $400 billion. The F-35 is a complex flying computer with millions of lines of code, and its self-diagnosing system helps save time during maintenance. Inside the cockpit, pilots receive more information than in other jets, thanks to a custom $400,000 helmet that combines night vision, heads-up display, and infrared feeds. The plane's stealth design reduces radar detection and hides its heat signature, allowing pilots to operate more calmly compared to older jets. However, the high costs of the F-35 might lead the military to reduce its purchase plans, which originally called for 1,763 F-35As for the Air Force. The military's plan to buy F-35s may not reach the original target of 1,763 planes. Instead, they might purchase around 1,100 to 1,200, leaving a mix of legacy fourth-generation fighters still in service. After 2 decades, with less than a third of the planes built, the estimated $1.7 trillion cost is just a rough guess.